given to everyone to come into his presence. So we are seeing Revelation chapter 5 verse 9, which your blood you bought men to God. You purchased men to freely enter into the presence of God. That is what the New Testament priest does. We no longer need a high priest, according to Hebrews chapter 9, we no longer need a high priest that will go into the holies of holies once a year on behalf of their sin and the sin of others. No. Everyone now has the legal and the free access to approach God the Father. So in this kingdom, we are not just kings meant to reign. We are truly kings that reigns because our priesthood is intact. We would only dominate because we are made in his image and likeness. The more we keep administering, the more we keep beholding that image and likeness in priesthood, our dominion, our reigning on earth is energized. No priesthood, no kingship, no dominion, no reigning, no kinging. The bedrock, the platform for dominion is priesthood. So we are learning. Revelation 5 verse 9. With your blood you bought men back to God, which means you reconciled men to God. You granted men the entrance to approach God freely. With your blood, from every tribe, every language, every nation, every people, everyone now has that legal access to enter into God's presence. The kingdom that Jesus came to establish upon the earth. A kingdom of priests. Verse 10. And you have made them a kingdom. Revelation 5:10. You have, the moment you bought them with your blood. The moment you bought them with your blood, the moment you reconciled them to God, what you did was that you made us into a kingdom, which means a royal race and a priest to God. Some version says a kingdom of priests to God, which means a royal race that are also priestly. Not just royalties, not just kings and royalties. We are also priests. In fact, the reason why we are kings is because we were first priests. This is the formation of the kingdom. This is the formation kingdom. So when God said, let's make man in our image and our likeness, so that they would have dominion. That image and likeness there is God administering priesthood. There has to be a ministry to the Lord for you to bear his image and for you to function like him. Then you can dominate. God didn't just say, let us make man to dominate. No, there has to be a formation, a morphology of man being in our image likeness for him to then dominate. That priesthood. So he made them a kingdom, a royal race, and a priest to our God. And then, based on the truth that we are now made into a kingdom of priests, we will now reign. Can you see this now? Oh my goodness. We will now reign. Forget about reigning as kings if your priesthood is not intact, because the kingdom Christ came to establish is a kingdom of priests. And the end of that, once these priests are administering their priestly duties, the end of that administration is reigning as kings over the earth. My goodness. Reigning as kings over the earth. Blessed be God forevermore. So now let's go to verse 13. Revelation 5:13. I want to show us something there quickly. And I had every created thing in heaven and on earth, under the earth, and then they were crying to him who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb be ascribed the blessing and the honor and the majesty and the power forever and ever. So we can see verse 12 says, saying with a loud voice, deserving is the Lamb who was sacrificed. Look here, people of God. Revelation 5 verse 12. See the strategy, see the system, see the formation in the life of Jesus as well. Revelation 5:12. They were saying, deserving is the Lamb who was sacrificed. to receive power and riches and wisdom and might and honor and majesty and blessings. So Jesus himself had to be sacrificed, that is priesthood, before he could receive wisdom, power, majesty. You might think he just died for you and I. You might think that was just what he came to do. But we are seeing that administration of death, which is priesthood, him being slain for our sins, him shedding his blood, led to him receiving power, glory, riches, blessings. There had to be a death that followed a glorification. There had to be priesthood that followed an highly exaltation, even in the life of Jesus. So Jesus had to die for him to be exalted. That is still priesthood being administered, because we'll be learning that priesthood has to do with, of course, the shedding of blood. So Jesus shed his blood to the end that he as well receives power, honor, dominion over every name that is named in heaven and on earth. Philippians chapter 2. He didn't just die for you and I, he also died to receive kingship, to receive dominion, to receive glory through priesthood. It was when he became like that of a servant, and he put on the form of a servant to the point of dying, that God now highly exalted him. Jesus had to subscribe to priesthood for him to be highly exalted as the king. So it is the formation for us to reign. Priesthood is the platform. Priesthood is the foundation. So we are looking into what? A kingdom of priests. Part 1. All right, so we'll just begin to look into insights into priesthood. So we've learned that in this kingdom, we are kings and priests. We will actually reign as kings because we are priests. What grants us the effrontery to reign is because our priesthood is intact. It's the formation. What granted Jesus the ability or the authority to be highly exalted is because he got to the point of shedding his blood. His priesthood was intact. Sacrifice was intact. And then God the Father could highly exalt him. Hey, are we understanding this? This is it, oh, people of God. So now let's journey.